everybody, I'm Mataure. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. Hi, if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed down below. This is Chunks. Mine has been creeping. But anyway, we've got a good video for you guys today. So some of you have been nice enough to notice in the comment section that I've lost a little bit of weight, and Chunks as well. And a bunch of you have been asking me how I've been doing that, so I'm going to go into all of that. I'm going to let you guys know how I lost the weight without any exercise. So we're going to go into all of that. And while we're doing that, I'm going to give you one of my favorite recipes that's been such a go-to for me in this weight loss season. So I hope you guys enjoy. So in January this year, I put up a post on Instagram. I'm going to put it over here. It's a long post. Go and read the caption. But basically, I was talking about the body image issues that I was having. I'd gained a lot of weight. At that time, I weighed about 70 kgs. And I was feeling like trash. And I couldn't figure it out. Honestly, I'm not someone who eats a lot, but I wasn't eating that much. But the few things I was eating, I was blowing up. I was gaining almost half a kg in a couple of days, and I wasn't doing anything different. So it was just really depressing. At the time that I put up that post, honestly, I was just at the end of my wits. I was extremely depressed. I was crying a lot, almost every day. That unfortunately coincided with the time in my life where things were just hectic. Things were just really hard, and I was just down. And you guys jumped in, and in the comment section, you guys were so kind, and you said so many things to encourage me. But to be honest, that was my lowest point, and that's when I gained the most. So I decided that I needed to make a change in my life because it was now affecting so many things. I'd sleep 10 hours and wake up tired. And of course, a lot of it was mental as well as it was physical. But I knew that I needed to make a change, and the diet was the first start. So I'd been hearing about this BANTING diet for so long, and you just come across it, and I'm just like, okay, BANTING. Or you see the keto diet, you're like, okay. But I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm so desperate, I'm going to give it a good and honest try. So I think it was mid-Feb or somewhere there, Chunks and I made a decision. We said we're going to try it for 2 weeks and see how it goes. So we decided to take on BANTING. So I'm going to insert a clip here of what we looked like and what it was like when we started. Okay, so this is what I looked like on day one. I'm going to show you guys my stomach. A little uncomfortable, but anyway, here we are. So this is what we're working with. Okay, I actually don't need to talk with it. Right, so what I'm hoping for at the end of this challenge is that my stomach at least would be a bit better. And my arms are the worst. You see the back fat? The back fat, terrible. I've always had big thighs, so I don't really mind the thighs. But if I can lose a little bit, that'll also be fine. So, yeah. $68.3 starting weight. Take from top. So basically what BANTING is a high-fat, medium-protein, low-carb diet. So it's slightly different from keto, that's high-protein, medium-fat, and low-carb. But the low-carb thing is what they have in common. So we decided to give this diet a try. So basically BANTING is based on 3 lists, okay? The green list, the red list, and the orange list. Green list being things that you can eat as much as you like and everything, stuff you should eat every day. Orange list being stuff you shouldn't eat as often, maybe once or twice a week. And red list being stuff you shouldn't eat. So I'll link all of those things down below. I'm not going to list it all here, otherwise it'll be too long. But anyway, so we got started. So that first week, first of all, we tried to clear the house out of anything that wasn't BANTING friendly, because once it's in the house, that's it. So we got to buying more veggies and things like that, and we started the low-carb thing. The day I stopped eating bread, by the following night, I was sleeping properly. So I had no idea that I actually have a sensitivity to gluten until I stopped actually eating it. It was making me extremely bloated, and there was this constant pain that I used to feel in my stomach that I didn't realize was pain at the time, but looking back, after eating bread again, I was like, oh, there it is. Okay, it's pain. That happened because of eating gluten. So other than the eating gluten, we then went into the carb withdrawal. So it's different for every person, but I know I had a very, very serious carb addiction, especially sugar in my tea. So I had to cut out sugar in my tea, the bread, the potatoes, the yada, 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 all your carbs. And yeah, that first week was hell. I don't even want to lie to you. That first week was hell. The carb cravings are actually very, very serious. It seems like it's a joke, but it is not. Like, it's a need. You know, and sometimes even dreaming of carbs because your body is just like jonesing for anything, whether it's sugar, bread, donuts, and it was insane. That first week was really, really tough. But by the second week, I was doing really, really well. Like, I had adapted and I was getting used to it, and I think that phase of the withdrawal had faded a little bit, so it was definitely much better. And I was kind of getting used to it. Okay, here we are, a couple of months later. I'm hoping that you guys are seeing a difference, and I am. But anyway, let's just get to it. Last time my concerns were my stomach and my bingo wings. But anyway, this is where my stomach is right now. This is where we are. And last time, one of my concerns was my back fat. I think it's definitely better. Yeah. Yes, this is where we are. Of course, I do still have some stomach fat, but it's okay. My arms, I don't see any difference in my arms. My arms have always been the hardest place for me to lose weight. But anyway, this is the updated version of me. Hey, nice.
Right, here we are. No sucking in, nothing. Stop sucking in. But yeah, definitely improvement. This is sit-ups. Sit-ups need to be done for this. Sit-ups. Go with that. And sideways. Yeah. Sit-ups. You see when I tense, like, it's there, but no. Yeah, good. Yeah, much better though. Do feel a lot better. Yes.
So basically, we lost quite a bit of weight in that short period of time. So initially, we'd agreed to do the banter, well, the diet or lifestyle change for 2 weeks. But after those 2 weeks, like, I felt so much better. Like, my energy levels improved. I was sleeping so much better that we decided to make it a lifestyle choice. So that's the change that we then made lifestyle wise. So now, of course, we're in July. It's much, much later, but we've continued with banting. I'm not super strict because I gave myself a year to lose the 10 kgs that I needed to lose. And at the moment, I'm sitting at about 62 or so. So I'm not being super strict. Like, if I want chocolate, I'm going to have a chocolate. If I want a slice of bread, I'm going to have a slice of bread. But because I've now taught my body how to crave good foods, that, you know, that change has kind of happened. So I'm like, yes, I could have the 4 slices of bread, but also veggies are nice. So like, my body is now starting to discern the difference in terms of the value of food. I used to have a very, very bad relationship with food. I was an emotional eater. Still am a recovering emotional eater, but banting also helped me to just like break that cycle. So I'm not saying banting is the be all and end all. For you, maybe you can try it and it's not maybe it won't work for you, but for me, it ended up being the best choice. For me, I'm losing the weight, but in the end, losing the weight only became one of the benefits, and like probably the least important one. Just the way I started to feel about myself, my body, I generally started to feel a lot healthier once I started banting. So for me, that was worth, you know, foregoing things like the potatoes, the whatevers. So in terms of diet, I know one of the first things you can tell me is, banting is so expensive and yada, 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 veggies. It's really not expensive. It's actually up to you to determine how you want to do it. So, I mean, those of you in big cities, you guys have got no excuse because you guys have access to so many amazing vegetables that we just don't have out here. Out here, we survive on like cabbage, sweet potato, pumpkin. That's about it. Once in a while, we can get broccoli. Once in a while, we can get cauliflower. So I had to then learn to get creative in terms of my recipes because things were just like, we just don't have a lot of things available that you would find in bigger cities. So if you're in a bigger city, you're definitely in a better position. So in terms of my staples, like things I must have in the house, meat. That's a big one. The reason I actually managed to do this lifestyle change for so long is because I can eat meat. I am a huge meat lover. So because I can keep eating meat, then, that works for me. So I'd say meat, eggs, cheese are also a big staple for me. Sorry if you're lactose intolerant. I really feel bad for you, but cheese is very huge to me. And milk, so I can have my tea and coffee. And yeah, pretty much just vegetables, whatever vegetables are on hand. Usually cabbage is the most common here. And yeah, I just make it work. So for example, something as boring as cabbage, we've come up with like 4 or 5 different recipes for the same thing. So you have to be creative. So I think if I were to advise anyone about this lifestyle change, I would say don't do it unless you're 100% committed to giving it a try. By giving it a try, I mean give it at least 2-3 weeks because your body also needs time to adjust. So what they also say is if you're starting banting, don't exercise in the first month of starting banting because your body, like, things are just like going crazy. So yeah, that's about it. But otherwise, the group that I got all of my information, I'm going to link it down below. I'm not an expert, so they'll be able to give you all the information you need. Okay, so Chonks, anyway, I've spoken for myself. Chonks and I embarked on this together, but maybe he'll give you his experience because maybe it was different.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, for me, it was more trying to adjust to all these changes and everything. Okay, you spoke about the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think for me, because I'm generally a quite active person, I think what I struggled with the most was the lack of options. I think also in the meal portions. I think at the time when we started, it was trying to manage our portions and have the right amount of whatever it was for breakfast, lunch, dinner, etc. But eventually, it
I
got
think
better.
if you guys want like a fully detailed video about banting, let me know in the comment section down below because that'll be a little bit longer, but I didn't want to take up too much time with this video.
So I think also with the weight loss and everything, it was quite surprising. I mean, after 2 weeks, you stand on the scale like, oh,
it was like,
actually no,
3 kgs down.
After week 1, I think I tried on a shirt or something that I had worn before starting banting, and I was like, okay, well, this fits a bit differently. What's going on? So we had sworn not to get on the scale. Yeah. So it was like, am I really losing weight, or is this just me? Is it psychological? Is it in my head? And then after the 2 weeks, when we decided, okay, let's do the weigh-in, I was like, okay, well, this is fitting differently. And I actually have lost, I think I lost 4 kilos. So it was a surprise, a pleasant surprise. And I think I'd also reached a stage where I was like, okay, I'm not exercising enough. I've gained quite a bit of weight. I'm not comfortable. For someone who's sporty the way I am, I wasn't happy with where my body was going. So I was like, okay, this is not good.
Something has to change.
It's a different experience from what you were going through and how you talked about it and all that.
Yeah.
But I knew that something had to happen. And you read about all these different diet plans and this and that, and some of them say, okay, starve yourself, eat 1 meal a day. And look, it's not, so again, even with banting, it's not for everybody. Some people need to have a certain amount of carbs because your body type is different. So like you were saying, research, do your homework, check your body type, talk to doctors if you have to. But if you want to make a change, then, give it time and also be serious about it.
Yeah, and you have to be serious.
So I remember those first few weeks. I mean, it was painful because I was like, okay, this breakfast is not enough.
I think we weren't eating enough.
We weren't eating enough. Yeah, but again, that's because of where we are and the limited options and this and that. So again, big city people, you got a lot more, a wider variety to choose from.
You can have like 4 different vegetables.
Yeah, and you can actually afford to have those snacks in between and this and that, and if it's biltong that you need to have, you can have that. We don't have that out here, so we were able to make do with what we have, and that's when you realize that this kind of lifestyle or this kind of diet can work for anybody. So whether you've got a huge budget or even a small budget, some of the banters that we follow on Facebook and all of that, some of them talk about, okay, well, how can I bant if I'm in a low income area, or if I'm a low income person, how do I band, or what are the things that I can eat and can't eat, and That's where the
grand.
green, red, and
like all the lists
yellow
are there,
is
to be
come-
honest. Like even like, yes, you can eat meat, but no one is saying you must buy a steak, buy chicken feet, buy gizzards,
Actually,
buy chicken livers.
we started with
we did, and that's what, when we're broke, we buy chicken
cow
livers,
tongue,
bacon, you know,
what,
those kind of things.
whatever
So
you can,
it's up to you. But that's the main thing about banting is you should not be hungry. Like the rule is that you eat when you're hungry, you stop when you're full. So when you first start, you're hungry a lot because there's a lot going on. So eat as much as you're eating. Avoid snacking. If you're hungry, eat and eat properly. And then eventually you'll find as time goes on, like a couple of weeks into it, your body starts to get fat adapted. That's what they say. And you don't get hungry as often. Like for me, I found like 2 meals a day. That's like the max for me. I don't think I can do any more. I can like nibble. Yeah, but even then, like 2 meals a day. So for me, I get really hungry around 10 in the morning, 10, 11. I'll have coffee in the morning. I'll eat around 10 or 11. And then I'll have dinner. And then maybe I'll have a cup of tea in between or something, but generally 2 meals a day. But that's me. Some people is 1 meal a day, others is still 3 meals a day. That's fine, as long as you're making sure that you're not hungry. That's the main thing about this diet.
But again, also it depends on what kind of work you're doing as well.
Yeah, obviously if you're doing very physically demanding work, you probably need to
if
eat
you're
more.
a birida, if you're carrying bags of cement every day, look, not advisable. Obviously, because you're doing such labor-intensive work, having carbs.
Yeah,
you know, it's
might
fine
work
because,
for you.
Because you're also burning those carbs that much quicker. If you're sitting at a desk all day long, you know, it might not be ideal for you to be having so many carbs.
I think also a main thing, okay, like this I'm not advocating for, I'm just telling you about myself. I haven't exercised and I don't exercise. I'm starting now though, as of like today, I started by stretching. But of course, after the first month, you're not advised to really do heavy exercise, but after that, by all means exercise, because that's also a very big part of being healthy. He exercises a lot. He's a naturally sporty person. I am not, so it takes me a little bit more. But yes, of course, all this weight that I've lost, this 8 kgs, it's without exercising, but I highly encourage it because it's just good for you. It's just good for you. So yes, I am a couple of kgs away from my goal weight now. I'm about 4 or 5 kgs away. And yeah, I'm in no rush, to be honest. I'm in no rush. I'm looking forward to the journey. It's exciting. But yeah, I think it's just given us a chance to also be more creative in the kitchen because we can't just always be eating sadza, stew, veggies, rice, stew, veggies. You know what I mean? Like you try and mix it up.
But the thing is, don't be hard on yourself. Like, I mean, like we're saying that, you know, you go visit people and you can't be like, oh no, I can't eat this because I'm banting. I'm
do it
above you. No, try.
I think if you're eating clean 80% of the time,
that's what we try and do.
That 20% really won't make much of a difference.
You can have a pizza. I mean,
actually last time we went to Arare, I pokos like 3 times. I was eating carbs, pizza, pasta, yada yada. That 1 week I lost it, and then I came back and found I'd only gained 300 grams. But whereas before, when I wasn't on banting, if I'd eaten the way I'd eaten in Harare now, I would have solid put on 2.5 kgs easily. But because for the most part, my body is adapted, it's not as bad. And also after a while, I'm like, I'm actually done with carbs for today. Give me veggies, give me a salad, that kind of thing.
Now, for someone who works out, I don't work out as much as I used to, but I realize now that diet is that much more important than the actual weights that you're lifting. And it's actually so crazy that I used to lift a lot and take creatine, or not creatine, but protein subs and shakes and all that. Yeah. But when people say diet is 80%, 20% is actually the actual physical workout.
The exercise.
Now I'm like,
it makes sense.
It now makes sense because I'm like,
diet is 80%.
Okay, if I was able to lose this much weight or get to a certain place where I'm good or happy with my body, without even lifting a single weight, without even jogging a single kilometer, what more if I'm actually exercising and having a diet? This is why the top athletes in the world focus more on the diet.
Yeah, because that's where everything is.
And that's where the energy comes in. And even for me, I'm naturally an energetic person, but I used to find, you eat a meal, whether it's rice, potatoes, suds, or whatever, and you now start feeling lethargic.
The itis. That's what we laugh about it. The itis.
But it's real. It's
and then you're sleepy, and then an hour later you're hungry as if you didn't eat. Yeah. That's a carb crash. That's what carbs do to you. So anyway, that's about it, guys. Now let's get into the recipe.
Yeah.
So now that I've got everything together, I'm going to show you what we're working with today. First of all, we're starting with a bowl of cabbage. Now this bowl of cabbage, in this particular recipe, we've used 1 full head of cabbage because we want to stagger the meals to last for a while. So Chomps, our master grater, has been the one grating it. It takes quite a long time to do it, but I recommend grating the cabbage and then wrapping it in a dish towel to get as much water out of it as you can. So we've got cabbage, we've got some pork chop that I've cut up into small pieces. We've got some bacon to supplement the pork chop because it's not a very big portion, so I just want to beef it up. Of course, if you don't eat pork, you can substitute it for whatever you like, whether it's beef, chicken, veggies, whatever you want to do. I mean, play with it, it's your recipe. So we've got that, we've got onions, we've got garlic. So now basically what we're going to do is we're going to make a quick stir fry, and in the meantime, while I'm preparing the stir fry, I'm going to take the bowl of cabbage, throw it into the microwave as is after it's been drained, and microwave it for about 2-3 minutes just so it cooks a little bit before it actually goes into the final stage of cooking. This is a microwave recipe, by the way. It's not an oven one, so it's done really quickly once the grating part is done. So anyway, let's get to frying the stir fry. So I'm starting with the pork because that takes a little bit longer to cook than the bacon. That's why I didn't mix them all together. So pork generally cooks really quickly, but this one's not going to cook as fast as the bacon because it goes white first and then brown. So as it's starting to brown, I'm going to add the bacon in because that's not going to take time to cook. Okay, so I'm just squatting a bit so I'm in the frame. But anyway, so I've now microwaved our cabbage. Looks like this. Oh, one ingredient that I forgot to mention, eggs. We need eggs. For this amount of cabbage, I might put 3 eggs. Maybe 4 eggs. We'll see. And baking powder as well. But yeah, so we've made a giant portion like this because this is a lot of effort to grate. So usually when we cook a meal like this, it's going to last us like 2-3 days. For dinners, so that we know we don't have to cook, so it just makes it a lot easier. So anyway, this is done, so I'm gonna just leave it to cool because the thing is you don't want to crack hot eggs into hot cabbage because the eggs kind of start to cook and it's a bit weird. But anyway, this is done, so I'm gonna let this cool a little bit, and then in the meantime, this is the casserole dish that I usually use. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a microwave recipe. You can probably definitely do it in the oven. It's just my oven is not really that hot. That's why I don't like to use it. And microwave is just faster and it tastes delicious and it's just like that. So I'm gonna grease this with some butter. Not margarine. In Banting you use butter. So we're gonna grease this with some butter. My stir fry is done, and then we're gonna layer it with some cheese just like you do a normal lasagna. Right, so now everything is done. Don't forget to season your cabbage with some salt and pepper. Okay, so here we go. This white stuff is the baking powder. So anyway, I'm just gonna mix it all up and then layer it. Okay, that's done. So now I'm going to microwave this for about 8 to 10 minutes and then it should be done. So this is my favorite part, like the way the cheese just very rich, a very, very big portion. But anyway, we're gonna microwave this and then I'll show you the end result. And here we are. It's gonna be very, very hot when you take it out of the microwave, so just be careful. You definitely need gloves, but this is what it looks like. It is delicious. I'm gonna cut a section for you guys to see. Ooh, yummy. Can you see that? Look at the layers. Oh, it's delicious. Oops. Look at that cheese pour. Delicious. Now this is the true test, huh? Ooh. You know, it always finishes me when people taste their own cooking, as if you're ever going to say it if it tastes bad. But anyway, let's go. That's hot. It's the bacon and the cheese. I can't. It tastes really, really good. Really rich and very like homey. You know, you just need a meal that tastes like home. This is exactly it. You don't taste. Actually, I think Chunks should taste it. Because what else am I going to say, right?
Okay, let's have a dabble at this dabble.
Your honest opinion, baby.
Cabbage. Oh. Yeah, cabbage. Yeah, cabbage, oh, it's good. The bacon and the cheese comes through quite nicely. Very nice. The cabbage, yeah, holds it all together.
Yeah.
Delish. Can't complain.
Okay, so I think Chunks has proven it anyway. But anyway, what else is going to say? He's my husband and he has to eat this for dinner. So anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do try it, let me know in the comment section below how yours turned out. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming. My GoFundMe is still running, by the way. It's never too late to donate. I'll link everything somewhere up here. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you make it, please let me know. Tag me on Instagram if you do. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.